Ready to go? Hi, everyone. I'd like to call the Alton Planning Board of Tuesday, December 16th to order. And begin with roll call of members. My name is Bill O'Neill. I'm the chairman.
Doug Brown.
Tom Divany.
Christine O'Brien.
Tom Hoots, alternate.
Nick Bonapane, Selectman's Rep.
Two.
So we're missing Mark tonight. He did let me know that he was unable to make it tonight.
Okay, so we can appoint Tom.
Yes.
And next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, so on case P 2533, I did reach out to Prospect Mountain Survey to see if they would continue this. They still need to get some zoning approvals, and they may or may not need to go and get a waiver from the Board of Selectmen from the highway regs for the proposal that they have here for the driveway. And I did not hear back from Paul, so if we can find out from Paul what's going on with that. Can you maybe have him go to the
Yeah, sure. Would you
microphone,
mind?
please?
Just get a nameplate for you.
And just push the button so it's green.
You're saying that we have to go to zoning to get a variance or a definition?
Yes, so last Thursday I sent out.
Yeah, I
the
read it.
Department head, right. So the zoning board, for whatever reason, chose not to move forward with my notation that you needed a variance from the definition. So they did mention it, but they didn't put it as a condition. They didn't continue the application. They just went ahead and moved forward with it. I talked to town council, and in fact, you do need a variance, like I noted in that department head review.
Okay, so that's the town council's opinion, yet the zoning board didn't want to do anything for it. So you're saying you're going to override the zoning board?
So I don't have an answer for that. I have town council's guidance. You needed a variance. You were told you needed a variance, and I don't know why they chose not to
And
move
the
forward or
zoning
discuss it
board-
at all.
We did discuss it, and the zoning board said I had to go to select and get permission.
Right, and they totally ignored the fact that you needed a variance. The planning board cannot give you any approvals without having the proper approvals with the zoning ordinance. That's why it's an issue tonight.
Well, then I guess I'll have to continue it until we get,
Right, I
Other
I don't
opinions.
have the answer on whether or not town council can override zoning. I don't have that answer for you, but I do know that it's problematic with the planning board. I don't know why they chose
well, they
to not
they
address
gave me
that.
directions. They approved my variance, so I had a driveway that wasn't in the legal road frontage. I had a shared driveway that goes out to Bay Hill. So I got a variance to have the driveway in the spot not on their road frontage, because their road frontage is on 28, and there's no way DOT is going to give them permission. Then they told me, and we discussed the driveway issues with the three resident, right now it's a shared driveway, because the guy on the other side, his only road frontage is on 28. So they share a driveway. I want to cut a lot off, which would cut the main lot off of Bay Hill where their frontage is now, and then add that lot to that driveway, which is now going to be 3. So now I have to get permission to have 3 residences on one shared driveway, which the selectman rep at the zoning board said they do that all the time. You know, it's nothing big, you just got to come and ask for permission. Didn't say anything about having to do a variance for a definition.
So the definition of driveway serves less than 3. You can't approve anything that has,
And
that
that's
a
how it
driveway
solves it, by
serves
going to the
3
selectmen
houses.
and getting permission. That's what I was told at the zoning.
So you can go to the selectmen.
What's that? No, I have to go and get on the, agenda.
It didn't get on there. I haven't seen it yet.
No.
Was that prior to 28? Because if they were created after 28, they have to take their access off of 28. The 28 is not even considerable. Limited access.
But you subdivided that lot back in 15 years ago.
So subdivided.
Well, he did.
So that was subdivided into 2 lots and only coming into 3.
When the lot was subdivided once, and cut off the corner at 28 and Bay Hill. If that Tim is 150 feet on Bay Hill, made an L-shaped lot, and he had over 200 feet on 28. He wants to get another lot. The only thing I can do is off the Bay Hill side, which is those are the lots. His road frontage off of one of Bay Hill. Now his road frontage is on 28. Well over the minimum, but his driveway isn't on 28, and that's what your regs say. It has to be on their legal road frontage. I don't know if the state cares. Well, they're going to say you can't have it on 28. Right. So that's why I went and got the variance to have the driveway on 28 being the shared, on Bay Hill, the
Yeah.
shared driveway.
So are you going to continue this?
I guess I have to.
All right,
So that
continue
is
it to
continued.
the January, let me get a date certain. That would be the January 20th meeting.
That was
So-
the only,
We're still on agenda, so
yeah.
any other changes?
So there
the
were
agenda?
2 other additions after the agenda was originally posted, and that's listed under other business, number 3. That's a letter dated December 15th, 2025, from me regarding the Patricia Taylor Rogers Revocable Living Trust subdivision. And then there's another addition under 5, correspondence for the board's information regarding state permits. And it's an extension request for AOT permit for the subdivision over on Cherry Valley.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So next on the agenda is public hearing on 2025-2026 proposed zoning amendments to the Alton, New Hampshire zoning ordinance. And notice of public hearing, I'll just read through these. And then I'll open it to public. Notice is hereby given to the Alton public hearing on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025, starting at 6 p.m. in the Alton Town Hall, New Hampshire, to consider proposed amendments to the Alton zoning ordinance for the 2026 ballot vote as follows. Planning Board proposed Amendment 1 to amend Section 327 setbacks by referencing the special exception criteria listed in the residential commercial RC zone for when buildings and structures are encroaching a setback. Planning Board proposed amendment number 2 to amend Article 200 definitions by adding a new definition for abutter and to amend the existing definition for building envelope. Planning Board proposed amendment number 3 to amend Article 200 definitions, Section 319 accessory dwelling unit standards, Section 401 table of uses, Section 413 special exceptions, and Section 520 special exceptions in order to comply with newly revised state laws and to provide a size limit on detached structures. Planning Board proposed amendment number 4 to amend Section 401 table of uses to allow all home-based childcare uses wherever residential uses are allowed and to clarify the center-based uses. Planning Board proposed amendment number 5 to amend section 320 non-conforming uses, structures, and lots to clarify and simplify the replacement of non-conforming structures. Planning Board proposed amendment number 6 to amend section 401D, E, and F permitted uses dash table of uses by removing references that are not helpful for further information. Planning Board proposed amendment number 7 to amend section 452B, section 463B, section 412F, section 433G, section 443D, section 452D, and section 463E to further clarify the intention of the ordinances. And I will open it to public if anybody has any questions on those 7 proposed amendment changes.
So you do, when subdivision approved is required, are we discussing that right now?
No. No,
Okay.
no. No.
There is some comment.
Hmm?
We do have some public input.
Do we have some? Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you, Jill,
Come
can you
up.
come up to the
Yeah,
mic?
just
please?
come up here.
Thank you.
I'm glad the audio's working 80% of the time here tonight. For section 452B, when you're talking about 200 feet of street frontage, or even 150 if it's on a corner on each side, is that for like every zoning?
Where are you on?
I'm on,
Number 7?
well, yeah, page 7, section 452, restrictions governing use. And it's talking about lot size.
So, are you referring to that section 450 so that change is only just adding the word of, so that's all of that other language in black is existing,
Right,
and we're taking out the word with.
so that's all, and is that referring, so does that refer to like every zoning district, like across the board? So it would be impossible to have a 120-foot
Right,
frontage
no,
lot?
that's in the rural zone.
Yeah,
So
that's,
Section 452 is the rural zone
is rural
only.
zone, okay, that, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just looking
Yeah,
at this one.
I'm
page.
sorry, I didn't add rural, I'm sorry for the
Yeah,
confusion.
no, that was kind of my question, so, thank you.
If there were, very, just, if you were trying to accomplish one lot, you didn't have that.
Right. I'm just looking kind of forward. If we want some affordable housing, we might need some lots that have somewhat less than 200 foot at some points. So this was only rural that I'm,
Right.
you know,
And just,
Not 200 feet, it's not rural.
just for the record, so section 463 is the residential rural zone,
okay.
just so that you know. I meant to put headings on that.
So they're a little bit,
So in that zone, it is a little bit less,
It's less than 150.
right, and
and it's even less in some other zones.
corner lots need 150. And I'm just, yeah, so I'm just trying to understand because I know not every existing rural lot is in fact 200 feet, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, again, sorry for the confusion
Yeah,
on
no.
that.
It had frontage on 11, but you couldn't get
Right.
access to 11.
Yeah.
You had to have, get a reasonable lot.
so. Anyway, all right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else from the public? Okay. All right, seeing none at this time, I'll close the public hearing. And
I'll make a motion that we accept the move, vote the, town meeting.
I'll second that.
okay,
Can
Uh,
you just
hold on.
specify the March 2026?
Yep.
Can you just specify March 2026 town
March
meeting?
20.
Yes. Yep.
Second.
all right, any discussion? Questions, anything? Denise, excuse me. Okay, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Yes.
Yep.
And let's see. Takes care of that. And next on the agenda is public hearing for adoption of Town of Alton subdivision regulations and amendments.
Well, I'll start the conversation.
Well, let me just read through this real quick, Raj. I gotta kind of formally go through this. Notices hereby given to the public hearing on December 16th at the planning board meeting starting at 6 PM at Alton Town Hall. Public hearing to consider the adoption of proposed amendments to the Town of Alton subdivision regulations. The proposed amendments include updating a definition and clarifying when subdivision approval is required. Full text copies, so on and so forth. And let's see. This is. Just 108 section D, right? When subdivision approval is required. It's this one
Yeah,
here,
section 1D.
1D, okay. Subdivision approval by the planning board is required for the following types of land development. The division of a lot, tract, or parcel of land into two or more lots or plats, which are to be conveyed individually as separate lots of record. Number two, lot line adjustments. 3, the division of a lot, tract, or parcel of land into two or more sites or units or other divisions of land for sale, rent, or lease. Developments proposing condominiums, campgrounds, duplexes, or two-family dwellings, townhouses, manufactured home parks, or building development shall be considered a subdivision under these regulations. Number 4, voluntary lot mergers.
Yep. So that's that
And
change.
that's the change. If you have it, if the changes are in red.
And then there was one other change to the definition of major subdivision. It's right here. Well, it's just the addition of those words.
So, in the, in the regulations,
Yep.
page 16, section 98 subdivision major, it's just adding the words, the plats or sites. So the subdivision of land into 4 or more lots, plats or sites, or fewer lots, plats or sites, if new street or other municipal improvements are proposed. That's more like housekeeping.
It is.
Thank you. Okay, so at this time, I'd like to open it up to public.
So, Mr. Chair, before you go to public, I would suggest that the planning board just
Okay. Have
discuss them.
We haven't, okay, I wasn't here last month, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I hadn't discussed them, so, okay, so I'll, sorry about that. I will open it up to the planning board for discussion.
The intent of this is to loop duplexes in with everything else, right? That is the intent of this?
It's not just specifically duplexes. It's just clarifying when subdivision approval, it was very vague. And with this addition of the language, it's not vague.
black and white.
It's very specific and clear to the public, in my opinion.
I think
So-
this, I think that this is going at this all along, and I think that we need to, I'm gonna say, kick the can down the road or postpone this. I think we need to meet with the zoning committee, the amendment committee, and do some discussing on this, because, I mean, first of all, it wouldn't be a subdivision because it's one piece of land, it's one owner, one tax bill. It's not a subdivision. If it was all condos, then you would have to do a subdivision, and that's when it would come to the planning board. So like this, the mobile home park there out on 140 that was just, gone through, this ruling would have affected that. And that is one lot, one owner, one tax bill. And he has renters, but renters get tax bills, but it's not a subdivision unless he subdivided and sold off each one of those units as a condo. And, had a condo. So the idea of what is happening here is to solve an issue, but I think it needs to be looked at a little more careful and a proper proposal put together, because, like I say, it's not a subdivision. And,
Well, Raj, I just got a question for you. You're talking about one piece of property, right? You're talking about that development that was on 140? That was one
Yes.
big parcel?
Yeah.
But in here, it says a land into 2 or more units. So a division of lot, tract, or parcel of land into 2 or more, if it's just one, this doesn't apply, right?
yeah, no, but what they
So-
want it to be is if.
Or am I reading that right?
They've written it to that to be a subdivision.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
so this is a proper proposal. This has nothing to do with the ZAC committee. And if you would read the definition of subdivision, that's in the subdivision regulations, and it's also listed in the site plan regulations, which mimics the state's definition. Subdivision B, the division of a parcel of land held in common and subsequently divided into parts among several owners shall be deemed a subdivision under this title. There are several different ways that you can subdivide land. Even a lot line adjustment is a subdivision of land. A lot merger is a subdivision of, quasi-subdivision of land. So if you look in the existing definition, which is from the state, it lists several different ways that is what a subdivision is considered. This has been looked at for quite some time. I have included town council, and it's under his advisement that this get updated. So this just wasn't done willy-nilly. It's a subdivision of land.
And is this consistent with state?
I was just gonna
Yes.
ask that.
Where's our literature that tells us that?
So
read that.
I gave you the entire copy of this for tonight's public hearing. And you flick to the definition section on
What the-
page 15. So it's definition number 97, subdivision, which is the state's definition. You look under B, and that is exactly what took place with the manufactured home parks and with the 2 projects that are currently underway for duplexes.
You say 15,
Page 15,
97D?
B.
97B,
B.
as in
B,
boy.
B as in boy.
You can have one lot and you can subdivide it traditionally and sell it off to different owners. You have one lot that you have multiple building sites on one lot. That's what a subdivision is.
Just
An
read
easement
B.
can be a subdivision.
You just read B. The division of a parcel of land be held in common and subsequently divided into parts among several owners shall be deemed a subdivision. Want me to read it again? The division of a
Okay,
parcel
so
of
I'm
land
sorry, that was
held
the
in
one.
common and subsequently divided into parts among several owners shall be deemed a subdivision. That's a condo. That's a subdivision. Condos, you have to come to the planning board to do a subdivision, because you have to have your condo docs, you have to have this, you have to have your common space, and a condo has to come to the planning board. But a single lot, single owner, single tax bill isn't a subdivision. Subdivision is a subdivision of land. It's taking this piece of land and
But if,
making two lots
but
or
it
three
says,
lots.
but
four
Raj,
lots.
Roger, it says into two or more.
Two or more,
Sites.
that's a subdivision. You're making, this is one piece of land.
Yeah, but if that's what this says, though, the
Bill,
change,
if you
right?
can read the,
This-
so if you
this
can
is what the
read
change
that
says.
without the changes, it was originally,
So without the, all right,
with
okay,
it, so if
without
you
the
read it
change-
without the changes, it still applies.
Division of land into two or more building sites or units for sale or lease, or for condominiums including campgrounds. So it still says, it says two or more in there, Raj,
Yeah, which.
for the changes. So all it does is just, I think, that's the way I'm reading this, is it's not saying one lot that it's a subdivision. It says two or more that's a subdivision.
Right,
So,
so that's listed under.
so you're still creating two or more. You have to create two or more, and then it's,
But
then
it's
it,
not-
that
you're not-
applies. But if it's,
one piece of land, it's not being subdivided.
but it says you're two or more, division
Yeah, if
of,
it's two or more, then it's a subdivision.
right, that's what it says here.
But that's what that says, that's a subdivision. If it doesn't get broken into two pieces of land, if it remains one piece of land, one owner,
I don't
one
think we're
tax
arguing
building,
that.
that's not a subdivision.
I think you're correct,
Yeah,
but that's
I
not
think
what.
right, but that's not what it says. It doesn't say anything about having one piece of land.
That's what this proposal is to, to come in with one piece of land and call it a
Just,
subdivision.
I don't think I'm understanding what you're saying, because I'm reading two or more.
Right, so
I'm
what,
not saying,
what
I'm not
Roger's,
seeing one, if it's one, it's not saying if it's one piece of property, it's a subdivision. It doesn't say that. It says if it's two, divided into two or more, then it's a subdivision. And it just defines what you can, what, if it's a manufactured home or townhouses or duplexes or whatever. But it's saying if you're dividing division of land into two or
Roger,
more.
Jessica, what the purpose of this whole thing is?
it's
This
to
is
clarify things, because there are projects that have come before the town that have either gone before the board prior to, under the site plan regs, which didn't qualify, or they came in and this language was vague. So it was brought to town council's attention that there's an issue in town with our regulations, because major projects are coming through town that have zero town oversight. And so that's why we went through all of this and came up with language so that it's clear. Because the current language said a division of land into two or more building sites or units. So that means you have one piece of land that you divided into two or more building sites or units, which is what is taking place with these two projects for duplexes and also the manufactured home parks. You have one piece of land you're dividing into two or more building sites. That's what number 3 is trying to clarify right now. What you're talking about is listed in number 1, which is a traditional subdivision of one lot into several lots, and you're selling off the lots into different people. Number 3 is a different type of subdivision, which is one piece of land divided into two or more building sites. So that would mean multiple buildings are being built on one site. That's why the subdivision regs applied to the manufactured home parks and not site plan regs. So
And
even
again,
your
this is
current,
all consistent with what state definitions are.
even your current regs should have, both of those duplexes should have fallen into this, but the language was vague. So we're trying to fix it so it's not. So that way, for eternity, people don't keep coming into town building these major projects without town oversight.
I still think it needs, we need to look at it. Need to have a meeting and dig into this.
All right, any other further discussion from the board?
I think it is we've run into a situation where there was an oversight and something was missed and we didn't, put it into our regulations at all, and now we're trying to fix it so that it falls under some sort of regulation. That's what I think the intent of this is.
Okay.
Is there, how does it impact like what traditionally had been minor and major subdivisions? Does it change any of that?
This change in the beginning
Yeah,
doesn't affect mine.
It doesn't.
No,
okay.
Okay.
that's not what's being changed.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay. Seeing none, I am going to open it to public. Any questions from the public, comments?
Oh, Dusko? So I don't disagree with Jessica and where she says you need town oversight. But if the state doesn't require you to have subdivision approval, to put septic systems on those sites for those duplexes, then why should the town? Shouldn't be in the subdivision regs, it should be in site plan. Site plan will give you the oversight to make sure that that site is developed properly. You have your drainage and everything, so you're not sitting there dumping all that water on your neighbor. But it shouldn't be subdivision, it should be site plan.
If it was site plan, would they be able to regulate the number of units they could put into one property?
The state regulates it by lot loading. If you got 9,000 gallons you can put on that lot, then you can divide that by 600, that's how many units you can put on there.
But do they limit it on the side, say that parcel was 10
They don't go by
acres.
acres
I know, but just
anymore.
hold on. So if there was 10 acres and it was what you said with the 9,000 gallons, right? How many would that allow you to put on there? I don't know. I know you know them right off the
Divide
top of
that
your head.
9,000 by 600.
Yeah,
You need 600 gallons per unit.
okay. Yep.
So that
you-
would tell you how many units you can put on that
Okay.
site.
That was my question. I was trying to figure out if there was a density based on acreage
There
or
is- but
density
it-
based on.
They taking the acreage out. You do it all, well, you do still do it by square footage, but you do it all by soils.
You gotta, Scott, if you're gonna,
You can come up, you
you're
want to
gonna
talk now?
talk, yeah, you gotta come up here, Scott.
The state does have a formula, and it depends upon whether or not you're well water or municipal.
Right, but it's all based on soils.
Just
Right. I mean, because I read it, and I think there's still acreage involved, it's just that depending upon whether or not you have municipal or well, but there's still,
They used to have a minimum lot size for acreage. And it was all based on soils. You had greatest soils, you only needed 30,000 square feet. If you had shitty soils, you had to have 5 acres. Basically,
well, that's the way it should be, I mean, that's,
right. So it was always based on soils, but now it's all on lot loading. So if you can sit there and down here where it's all sand, you can put tons of stuff because it just seeps right in. But
That will support 2,000 gallons a day, perfect soils.
Except when it's over the aquifer.
the whole town's under the
Yeah.
aquifer.
I agree with Paul, this should be a site plan versus, it's not a subdivision by
If you
any
don't need
stretch of the
state subdivision
imagination.
approval, why should you have town? So if you want town oversight, then put it in your site plan. And then you have to come through, and most of these come to a point where they're gonna need AOT, so now they're gonna have to go to the state anyway.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you know what I suggest is that we continue this because my original discussion with town council was to put it under the site plan regs because multifamily was already under site plan regs.
Okay.
And he told me to add language to the subdivision regulations.
I
So,
feel
so,
Bad opinion.
at this point, without, wasting
Yeah, I mean.
more of our night with
Everyone's
this
entitled to
discussion.
an opinion.
Just to- to-
So I would like the opportunity to be able to discuss it further with him
Well-
and get the reasons why he thought it was subdivision instead of site plan, so
If
I
it's
can
site
come
plan,
back with
it's still
that.
the-
Subdivision is providing land,
It's still
and then,
large, right?
then you convey that
Right.
to another person. That's when,
The town sells
when you
over
have all
site.
those duplexes and now they want to condoize it, now it's gonna come to subdivision because it's changing ownership.
All we're trying to do is keep them from racking and stacking and overloading the lots.
It's be a rule that is put in, the state might not let these units be condos. I've seen that come through on approvals, that these cannot be converted to condos.
And that would be, we would be able to, that's state, or we would
That's
be
the
able to
state.
add that?
That's the
So we
state.
could mimic the states and allow them not to be condoized.
Let's put it this way, I think most people will always waive themselves down to the state minimums.
Yeah.
And I feel we should follow that, because
Okay.
why put people in, you know,
Okay, so
special.
just do vote,
Oh.
okay.
Not putting it
Right.
under subdivision and putting it under site plan
Just
will give,
leave subdivision and site
oversight.
plan.
but it'll allow the people that are proposing the properties or that are developing the properties to have a little more leeway over themselves versus a subdivision, correct? Is that what I'm understanding? I'm not sure if I'm getting it right.
I think you are. Let's.
Subdivision
use
would
word-
be more restrictive, site plan would be a little easier, right?
Not
Well,
necessarily.
So by allowing these duplexes on doing site plan, you can cluster these, so you're not sitting there and disturbing all this land. You got 10 acres, and you sprawl it all out, you're sitting there doing a lot more disturbance. If you sit there, and this is almost like a little cluster subdivision, or not subdivision, but development.
Watch your
I
language.
know.
Your language. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Question,
Yes,
a former town attorney
Excuse me.
had said that he wanted to see both subdivision and site plan used when we were doing condos and a few other subdivisions. And I think we need to check whether there's some legal reason why that was proposed. I'm not a lawyer. I don't pretend to
Well,
understand it, but
I can understand that.
Well,
If you were
it would-
doing, if you were
yeah.
doing condos, you would have to do both, because
You'd have to
you'd
do
have to do,
subdivision
you'd have to do the
approval.
planning board for the subdivision, and then you'd have to do the site plan for the site. I mean, you're gonna build all these buildings, you gotta have a site plan, so that's why you would do both the planning,
No,
subdivision.
I think, but this is what Jess is running into here is in the advice from the town attorney is using subdivision. And yet maybe it's subdivision and site plan.
No, it wouldn't be subdivision.
It all
because you're not
depends on the
subdividing.
end use. Subdivision, you have to take for what it says, you're gonna subdivide something. And, yep, but if you don't do that and keep it as one single parcel, it's referred to as a site plan. And that's what these would be. You're gonna review the plan, because you're not gonna subdivide the land. They're not asking to subdivide the land, so why would you call it a subdivision?
well.
It makes
be-
no
but
sense
that's
at
what it-
all.
But that's what it said in here, Scott. It was into 2 or more sites, so you are subdividing.
No, you're not.
But that's what it says. It
But
says-
What the new
it's-
writing says.
The new writing says, because if you have
the old- this-
50
I'm reading the
acres.
old writing says the old
that
writing.
also.
The old
But
writing says that.
it's-
The old writing says into 2 or more, it used to say building sites, but now the building was crossed off in sites, but that division of land into 2 or more, that is still there.
2 or more
That's
what?
2 or more sites or units.
Sites, that you can take that as a lot.
No, they're making a distinction between site and lot.
Right.
Number 3 is what's in contention.
Right.
It does
So-
say unit and.
Anyway, I
We'll table
really
it.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, for any other questions, comments from the public on this? Yes, sir.
Hi, Bob Flannery here. I think she makes a distinction between, you mentioned 2 lots, but she makes a distinction of not necessarily lots, but building sites, which can be multiple sites on one lot.
Well, the building part is crossed out. So it reads the new, the division of a lot, tract, or parcel of land into two or more sites or units or other divisions of land.
Which is not a subdivision.
We would be under that proposed definition.
Well, if you
Yeah.
have one lot, but you have multiple sites on that lot,
But it's a division of a
but,
lot.
but it's really
You're-
not
You're
a
dividing
subdivision.
it.
Now we're just, we're creating words and creating scenarios that aren't really a subdivision. So,
They've changed the definition to include something that wouldn't be what you would normally think of as a subdivision.
correct.
But
But a
if it's-
definition is a definition. A subdivision is two separate parcels or more sold to other individuals.
And it
whatnot.
says for sale. It says for sale in there. So you're saying the way that this reads, a division of a lot, tract, or parcel of land into two or more sites or units or other divisions of land for sale. So if you divide them and sell them separately, that's not a subdivision?
No, what I'm saying is,
Because that's what it says.
there's a distinction here because she
Okay.
mentions sites within the same lot. Okay, that's not a subdivision.
But it also says for sale, so you're selling them separately. So that's what we're getting is, if you're
Well,
selling them separately, then you're subdividing.
So, to me, it sounds like there's a lot of confusion here. And I think Roger brings it up correctly, that this thing needs to be looked at further, because.
No, that's what, I'm just asking your opinion. I'm
Sure.
asking everyone's
And
opinion,
my-
and
my
then,
opi-
yeah, and then we'll,
My
yeah.
opinion is
Yep.
sites on one lot is not a subdivision.
I understand that, but then when you get into the
Selling
selling them separately, you're selling them off, making them for sale? But that's, the language is in there, that it's for sale. I understand, I'm reading what it says and trying, yeah. I'm reading what it says.
New language.
Because we can't just change the definition of a subdivision.
Hmm.
Subdivision is a subdivision. We can't make up other words here to make it.
Nobody's making up other words.
Yeah.
We agreed that we're
I-
tabling it, so this is a moot point at best.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
So-
you. I just wanted to
okay.
give my input.
Any,
Thank you.
no, thank you.
I
Thank
think you really need to check the law definition. And
Any other-
there's a reason that Sessler used to say that it required both.
It's gotta be in line with the state.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be in line with the state.
Any other questions, from the public?
subdivision approval for that.
Everyone's just kind of.
I know.
Okay,
It's,
Okay,
They're not meeting their own definition.
That's why we're talking about moving it to site plan. That's why we're talking about changing it.
so just kind of keep in order here. Any other questions from the public? Comments, anything? Yes. Oh, okay, good.
Mr. Shea, you're awesome. You are
Well,
awesome.
thank you for coming. We appreciate it. Okay, so seeing no more public input, I will close public. And since there's an awful lot to discuss here and an awful lot to look at, so what I would like to do is I would like to make a motion not to propose the amendments as presented at this public hearing and have more meetings about this and direct it back to town council for some clarification and possibly change this to site plan.
right, and it would be renoticed.
Okay, and then we'll renotice it.
Second
So-
that.
Okay. Any, we have a second, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate everybody's input. Okay, moving right along. Next on the agenda is a continued application, initial review and public hearing. Case P 25-30, Prospect Mountain Survey Agent for William and Jill Duca, and Timothy and Laura Barshin, owners, map 33, lots 31-1 and 38, 22 Marriott Drive and Marriott Drive, to adjust lot lines of, two lots of record, lot 31-1 adjusted from 1.40 acres to 1.45 acres, and lot 38 adjusted from 0.5 acres to 1.4 acres. And this was continued, so this was never.
So, Mr. Chair?
Yeah,
Just so that you know, so the owners of Lot 31-1, which are the Dukas,
yep,
they're going to need a variance from the same section that the Barchards received for the lack of the 75 feet of road frontage.
See, they
And-
got road frontage on Jewett Farm Road, 75 feet.
And so I suggested in here that you put that as a condition of approval and move
Okay.
forward, just because it was an oversight on the town from our
you
office.
have that.
I did add that as a condition number. It's under conditions precedent number 7. Other than that,
Okay.
there was just a couple things with the plan. I
Yeah,
didn't see any other issues.
Get some,
Right.
okay. So these are all just the wetland.
Yep, I would address the completeness first.
Well, we usually do waivers before completeness, right?
So there's a completeness item that, so I would suggest doing completeness first because there's an item that has to do with completeness,
Okay.
which is the sample deeds, which you guys usually put in as
Yes.
conditions of approval
Yeah.
as well.
I saw that. Okay. But everything else is fine, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
That's precedent, conditions precedent number 6, just so you know.
Was there anything else? I mean, you have everything else, right?
Yeah,
Looks
I
like
mean,
it,
you
right?
guys could address waivers. Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't have any issues with them.
Okay. And let's see, the waivers. It's all,
I would just vote on it.
yeah, the
The
wetlands.
completeness.
Okay.
Just, did you
Well,
guys
we
vote
would
on
vote
it?
them separately.
Did you vote on completeness?
No.
Okay.
They usually vote on waivers before completeness.
Okay.
It's usually how we do it, but, I will make a motion that we accept the waivers, Article 7F, 7G, 7F, 7H, 7F, 7I, that we approve the waivers.
Second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And for completeness, I would make a motion that we find P 25-30 complete with conditions precedent. With conditions precedent, including the sample deeds, number 6, And number 7, receiving approval from the Alton zoning board for lot 31-1 from section 412B2 to permit the creation of a new lot within 75 foot of road frontage.
We'll second them as well.
Any discussion? All
What
in-
happens if
oh,
the
go ahead.
zoning board doesn't approve?
Then this approval wouldn't be valid.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Right,
Bob.
to answer your first question, the road frontage. Here's the original boundary plan. Got 75 feet on Jewett Farm Road. Jewett Farm Road is a Class 5 road. I didn't label, I can see the confusion because I forgot to label Jewett Farm Road on the plan. So here's that road that I have labeled is up here, okay? This here, this right there, that's Jewett Farm Road coming off of Bay Hill.
It ties into Courtyard Circle?
Courtyard Circle is a private road, but before that, you'll see where the road turns, I didn't label it, that's Jewett Farm Road.
Okay.
Jewett Farm Road's Class 5 road, it's on your inventory, it's Class 5, 884 feet long. And we're under 500 feet from Bay Hill, so it's a Class 5 road, it's 75 feet, and it's shown on my plan, 75 point something or other. That's the road frontage on a Class 5 road.
What do they do there? It looks like what, the Marriott Drive?
Marriott Drive is also, is an old
Yeah.
right-of-way, but it's a parcel owned by a private person who also owns a piece off of that road.
Okay.
The Dukas own at the end of Marriott Drive, where nobody uses it. The owners have agreed to just cut that off, or move the lot line so that 2,000 square feet
So
becomes.
this is what Bill owns right here? This is what the,
So,
I thought he was up here, but.
this is Bill,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, that's what I thought.
And he
All right.
also owns this.
Oh, he owns that.
Okay?
Okay. So this
This-
goes all the way down here.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is Marriott Drive, and it stops right here.
Okay.
We're just gonna move that
Just
line.
moving this back to
to
here.
there.
Okay. All right. So then Bill will own that. Okay.
I knew that was, yeah, I knew which one that is.
And so, we're just
moving
gonna
this
move
line to
this
here.
line here, that to there.
You're taking
So
this
it's
here,
just-
flipping it.
This 2,000 square feet is just gonna be added to
So
that.
where does he get in?
He has a driveway over
He
here.
does have a
Yeah,
driveway
he
here?
does not access it this way.
Parcel A goes to who?
I don't, can you put that on there or, I mean,
Yeah, it'd be good to have that.
it'd be good to have that on there, Paul.
Very
This 2,000 square feet and then he will be contiguous with his other lot, but this.
75 feet.
So they used to come in this way, right?
Now, it did all.
Is this where they used to come in to get the Billy
No,
stuff?
he comes in over here.
But it's not, can you show that on there?
What, right?
Where he comes in, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, can you put that on
Map
there? please?
33, lot
Yeah.
31.
That would be very helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one, there's a big lot.
Why is that?
I mean, that,
Paul, before you sit down, I just need a little help. So what are we doing, adding this little box to this land? That little box.
It all goes to here. Okay?
This is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a right of way. For all we block.
Okay, can we,
Okay?
can we,
And this guy here owns this block.
okay,
Okay, this guy owns this lot.
And he's just gonna give that 2,000 square feet.
Paul, would you mind just sitting there and just showing us, like, just show us what they're doing and show where, well, it doesn't really, no, it doesn't show the people in the driveway on this map. Okay, so we're gonna need the driveway on the map.
This, about, all four, yeah.
Brian Bailey, you're right.
So this was done by a different surveying company?
Bailey, he did the
Okay.
original boundary.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I didn't really do a lot, because I tied into his boundary, and we're only moving one little lot.
No, but I think if we had this in the first place, it would have alleviated a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
So this shows the driveway on the Courtyard Circle. So Courtyard Circle is a Class 5 town-maintained road?
Jewett Farm Road is.
That's not where you're indicating the entrance.
No, you were talking about road frontage, not driveway.
So your driveway,
I know, it
Needs
states
to be
it
in the
has to
same
be on
corner.
the legal, but, so now you're talking a non-conforming use. Because the driveway's not on his legal right of way, yet it's been there forever. Yet in your regs, and I've argued this before, in the Lake Shore residential zoning, last line says, existing non-conforming use shall be protected as provided for, under the other provisions of the ordinance. So it's saying here, non-conforming use is protected. So why do I gotta go ask permission then? For a little lot line adjustment, I've been going through a lot of BS on this one, just because this and that.
Well, we want to make sure we have everything
Oh,
right. mean, you know,
I
if-
totally understand.
So it's addressed in conditions precedent, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that lot 31-1, that's the big lot. And it looks to me like it's got 5 buildings on it, and a piece of one of the buildings is already on that. Is that part of the reason we're doing this?
Part of it. And there's the guy who owns Marriott Drive has no use for that piece of property to begin with.
so Mr. Chair,
Yes.
so Paul is absolutely correct. That G talks about non-conforming uses.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you go to B, D, so lots created after March 13th, 2018, so the town deems a lot line adjustment that you're creating a new lot of record. Also requires access to each lot shall be the required 50 feet street frontage. So that's why I brought up driveways and where that access was when you're talking about street frontage. So we have two zoning ordinances that conflict each other.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll just circle them and we'll have to get to those too.
Yeah,
Right?
put them on the list.
Add them to the list, I guess, yeah.
So clearly this doesn't come up a lot because I have not
Evidently,
been
yeah.
faced with this
Yeah.
predicament ever.
So can the frontage be on Courtyard or Courtyard Circle? Where his driveway actually is?
Why not? He does it now.
Because,
Been doing it for more than 25 years.
he's owned that long?
That plan was,
Oh,
it was
that,
2000.
oh, that one, yeah.
So essentially, all we're doing is adding
2,000 square feet to the lot.
to a lot that's already there and it's gonna
Can we go to
exist, it's
number
gonna
8
do
on
what it
this?
does.
Thank you.
It's no,
We add an 8,
all we're doing is
9,
making it
10
bigger.
on
I don't
this-
know.
on-
I'm not going to
Conditions
pretend to be the
precedent.
zoning officer and sit here and determine what he needs to do from here. So if you guys want to continue it, add a condition, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. So. But can his frontage be this courtyard circle?
His frontage is on, his
If you-
legal
if you
frontage
read
is on
G-
Jewett Farm Road.
G
Yeah,
s-
his
G says you
driveway is
can,
But his
on,
driveway's not
But D
there.
says you can't.
Does the driveway have to be part of the frontage?
Part of Jewett?
In
no,
BD,
it's
yes.
a private
Should we
frontage,
continue this?
yes.
Now that we made it complete, so we can continue it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because they need to
So would
take into-
zoning have to make this decision?
So, I mean, the zoning ordinance does have a provision that when you find things that are most restrictive, it's the most restrictive that applies. But I think that's in direct conflict with the non-conforming ordinance. Like, I think BD is wrong. That's requiring that frontage to be where you're claiming, requiring the driveway to be where you're claiming frontage.
Right.
Because G is saying existing non-conforming uses are protected. So that would be an
Kinda
existing
crosses each other
non-conforming
out.
use. Correct. So it's an issue in the zoning ordinance, and the planning board doesn't have the authority to make decisions in the zoning ordinance.
But what are we continuing it for? To go to zoning?
I feel that the zoning official needs to make a determination on this. That's my opinion. I'm not the code official. I'm not going to begin to say, overlook one over the other.
So if we continue this, who would make the decision?
It would be the zoning official.
Okay.
One comment here is that I'm looking at the date on Brian's drawing, and that's the first year I was on the planning board. So at that time, it was either Kathy Manisi or the time in which we had no planner. Because there was a time in which we had no planner, and Alan Sherwood and myself were doing most of the work. So I don't know what happened. I don't particularly recall this case, I'm sorry. But it seems to me that the subdivision shouldn't have been done.
That was just a boundary, it wouldn't have come forward to the planning
You're
board.
like the town elder, you know?
2018.
That's Brian's
Yeah.
plan.
You're supposed to.
But isn't it a subdivision?
I don't think so. Does it say subdivision or boundary?
I would say so, yeah, because, yeah.
Boundary survey.
So it wouldn't have come to planning board.
So
Well, I guess a lot of it then would go back to when was this subdivision created? Because how do you get something grandfathered that isn't prior to zoning?
What are we trying to grandfather here? We're only trying to grandfather that driveway for non-conforming, being not in the legal, the frontage on the class 5. Comes out on a road, it's just a private road.
So the goal is to have the zoning officer determine which is precedent out of those two.
Correct.
If he has enough road frontage, right? That's
He has he has the road frontage he needs on
Right.
Jewett
Yeah.
Farm Road. It's just that his driveway is not on that
Gotcha.
road frontage.
Right.
His driveway is on the other.
Driveway and just never use it. Just freaking take a pen, put a driveway
Can I do it in red?
on Jewett Farm, there's your driveway, and off you go.
I wish it was that easy.
It's that easy.
We'd have to continue.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we continue till we have a position from the zoning officer.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
That's to the January 20th meeting.
Yep. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Have a copy of the
Yeah, I thought this was gonna be easy too. Okay,
Can I keep one?
all right.
Yeah, no, information.
And
What? Suitable for thinking.
Just remembered something from 2018.
next on the agenda, well, P 2533 is continued till January 20th. And then we're gonna move on to, other business. Okay, under other business, old business, none. New business, approve of minutes, planning board meeting minutes, Tuesday, July 15th, 2025, August 19th, 2025, September 16th, 2025, October 21st, 2025, and November 18th, 2025.
Right. So the November minutes, you guys received in your packets. The ones from August and September, I just emailed those out to you earlier. You do have paper copies.
I have nothing with it, no problem with the November. I have a question on the September.
Okay. So I don't know how, what order you
Well,
move.
okay, so
move
let's do, it says we're starting in July. So
Yeah.
do we have the July ones?
No, the July ones are done. I don't know
Okay,
why
so
that's
we can
on there.
cross that off.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with August. Anybody have any changes or questions on the August 19, 2025 planning board meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion, we approve August 19th, 2025 planning board minutes.
I wasn't present, so I can't vote.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So that's August 19th. September 16th, 2025. Anyone have any questions or changes?
Line 16, they spell my name wrong.
Whoa. It's the same every time, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'll just have them go through the whole thing, just to make sure it's spelt right throughout the whole document.
It's not a big deal, as long as it's on the first page, it's fine.
But it's spelt right further down on the page.
I was just trying to find it again. Yeah, it's good on page 7
Okay.
of, whatever, on 6 of 7. Just the first page. I'll make a motion, we approve the Tuesday, September 16th, 2025 meeting minutes as amended.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, then October,
So the October ones, I still owe you the October ones.
okay,
Y-
We can't do
You do
those.
have November.
and we did have.
You had the November ones online.
Yep.
I had nothing wrong with it I could find.
Page 2, I wasn't at the meeting, so it should say Chair Roger Sample, I think.
For which one,
Yeah.
for November 18th?
Yeah.
It's
right,
there on
line-
page 1, right?
Line 55 on
Oh.
page 2.
Oh.
Wasn't there.
Wow, and you made the
And
minute?
I got the,
Ooh.
Pretty good.
Roger, that
Oh,
was you,
okay.
right? I presumed it was you.
Yep.
55,
Yep.
Tuesday, November 18th.
Cut and paste. Chair Brown should be Chair Sample.
Oh, I see, okay. yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyone have any?
Actually, again,
down
Chair
there again.
Brown on 473,
Oh,
page 11. That should be seen. Well,
Yep.
I wasn't here, so you guys, if anyone has any other questions or comments, we just need a motion when you guys are ready.
Are you going to abstain?
I'm gonna, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I wasn't there either.
Oh, so we need someone
Okay.
For which,
for November. We need someone that was here for November to make a motion if everybody's okay with it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we accept November. I read through it online.
Okay. Need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. That's A is done. Okay, B, board to discuss Roger Sample and Christine O'Brien are up for reelection in 2026.
Right.
And saw that somewhere. And next is the approval of the 2026 planning board meeting schedule. So,
Well, I was glad to hear nobody said oust him.
I heard Roger running for select. Roger, you running for select?
No. Ricky Fennessy is.
He's got my vote.
So. We vote on this, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
What are we voting on?
Just the, planning board,
Oh.
meeting schedule for
These are
2026.
Third Tuesday in the month.
The same, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve 2026 meeting schedule.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
And so you can just keep this copy, so I don't have to print it again.
Yep.
All good to go, nothing changed.
Okay. So, all right, next on the agenda, correspondence, letter dated December 15th from town planner, in regards to the, Patricia Taylor Rogers revocable living trust subdivision, April 15, 2025, map 3, lot 15, Prospect Mountain Road. So,
So,
this is, right, there was something that wasn't
right,
good on it, and
so
so
for whatever reasons,
the approval's revoked, right?
notices did not go out for this subdivision application.
Oh,
So technically, the subdivision is void. So what you guys need to do tonight is schedule a special public hearing and rehear the subdivision application.
so when you say notices weren't sent out, the.
The abutter
app-
notices.
But and that's the applicant has to send them?
Oh, no, that was an error on behalf of my department.
Okay, okay. So, all right,
So it needs to get on the special agenda.
for next month, or?
So we have to come up with a date prior to the next meeting
Oh, we have to have like.
and have a special meeting
Just for this?
just for this case,
How
so
does
that.
how does it get noticed?
So, so my office has a process when applications get submitted. And for whatever reason, that process for this specific application got out of the queue somehow. And those notices never went out. There were other cases on that same night on the agenda where the notices did go out. But for whatever reason, this one particular case got handled differently and notices did not get in the mail.
Well, that's my actual question was, how do we notice another meeting before our next meeting? I mean, what's the notice? How long does it take?
So we need at least a 12-day window. So that way notices are going to get sent out to abutters. It's going to get in the newspaper. It'll get posted in the same spots that agendas always get posted in. This letter went out to the original property owner and also to an owner that purchased one of the lots.
Any permits issued?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
This was approved in April. They started
So
doing it.
it's a process that just needs to occur in order for the abutters to get notified properly.
So it's within 12 days from today?
So, no, so whenever you decide to have this public hearing, we need 12 days.
But it's got to be before January 20th.
So preferably, that's what I was,
So
But it
we
had to be
can't
at
do it,
least
we
12
can't
days
do it in
from
the
now.
same meeting as the January 20th.
it's preferred that this gets taken care of as soon as possible.
Okay.
And I apologize that it puts pressure on you guys to come out for a special meeting.
And the applicant would have to come back?
The applicant has been advised, yes,
So basically, this is a matter of notification.
correct. So the abutters will get notified.
So they don't have any awareness of this.
There, that,
Well, other
it
than
was,
maybe seeing trucks going
it-
in and out or-
there were some abutters that were the ones that brought the attention to the town.
So there's
Yes.
the possibility this is contentious.
It could be.
Well, it's got to be fully heard in either way. It's not like,
Correct. I mean, what they presented in the subdivision plan was correct. You know, the subdivision itself, but the abutters did not have the right to come up and say their, yeah, exactly.
So
So,
there is a likelihood that some people want to show up and have input to this.
Correct.
so what would we have available for?
So that's what
a
I'm gonna look
meeting?
up right now. So,
Because you have to look at the town calendar.
right,
right?
so I did earlier, so my suggestions are, and it would give us plenty of time for noticing. In fact, as soon as we get this done, I actually want notices to go out by Thursday, so that way it's out and about earlier than it even has to be. So we can do either January 5th or the 6th, or January 12th, or I think it was the 15th. Let me just check the town calendar real quick.
5th, 12th, 15th work. for
Correct.
me.
The 5th or the 6th, or the 12th or the 15th, and that will give us plenty of time to notice. In fact, it will be more time than needed. So whatever works for you guys.
The 12th.
The earlier the better, I would think, in case.
So you want to
run
do
into
the
issues.
5th? Does the 5th work for
The 5th.
everyone?
I don't have any issues with that.
What time, Jess? 6?
It would be 6 o'clock. I can let my assistant know, and she can prep the letters and get them in the mail, and it will be in the newspaper for this Thursday. And we'll post the agendas in the normal spots here and post office and online. And then the word will be out sooner than later. Thank you.
Okay.
So that's January 5th at 6 o'clock. And just so that you know, our office, has taken this very seriously. We've had many discussions, my assistant and I, and we've come up with a plan to have a checklist. So we have a formal checklist process when applications come in, and then that way, boxes get checked off to ensure this doesn't occur again.
Okay. Or are we
You don't,
good?
no.
Huh? Okay. Let's see. Number 4, correspondence to board information. Number 5, correspondence for the board's information, state permit application. Section A, extension request for AOT permit dated December 1st, 2025. In regards to subdivision at Cherry Valley Road.
Yeah, so that's just for your information. They did,
Oh, okay.
they requested an extension and were approved by the state, so
Okay,
they need some more time.
all right. So, any other business from the board to come for us, or? Hearing none, I will open, public. Anyone from public? Anything? You guys good? You good? Okay. All right. So.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm all set, but thank you very much.